Instead, going to be using this JSON endpoint, which has a list of all of my countries that I'd like to populate this drop-down list. Let's copy that endpoint, take a look at the JSON structure here, and we see how I have just one record for country name with all of my different list of countries. I am going to be storing that within a field name called country. So I have in my vocabulary a attribute called country to store this. The label again is countries here, but I am pointing the client-side component here to look for because of the fact that the endpoint itself does not have JSON structured such that the name and value pairs have a standard sort of syntax of calling the label itself a display name and the actual value of the field value. So instead of having one line for display name and another for value, I just have everything within country name. So in any case besides when you have just a field name called display name and a field name called value, then we're going to need to point Corticon, or point the front end that is, to the specific place where the text field and the actual value is going to be located. In this case, both the display name, what I'd like to show, and what I'd like to show for this country when I select it, is both going to be stored within that field name at that JSON endpoint, country name. So let's say I want to navigate to United States. So now I have my place entity with a country attribute called United States. Now what we're doing is to go to this next JSON endpoint, but you'll note that I'm not necessarily limiting myself to just the United States in this URL, or at least I can prove that I'm not. When I go to this next endpoint, which shows every single state within every single one of those preceding countries. So quite a large set of data, goes all the way down to 14,000 lines that would otherwise need to be evaluated, and I need to sort through which ones to render if I wanted to statically define it or create URLs for just each country as an endpoint. Instead, what I'm going to do is first define that the text and value field is again going to be just the one line. In this case, state name is going to be the label and the actual value stored. But I am using a attribute called path to options array, which is going to render a JSON path syntax so that I can filter out all of the records where the country name is not equal to United States. So I have all of these different other types of states that could be rendered if the country name had been rendered based upon my previous selection as Sudan, Sri Lanka, etc. Instead, because I'm filtering out everything else, I am only rendering the fields that are applicable. So let's say I want to go with Nevada. We're now going to go to a subsequent additional level of JSON path filtering in my final field where I am rendering this municipality container. I am pulling in from a final JSON endpoint, which may or may not load quick enough for this video. As I slowly pull in a very large set of data, halfway down I'm at 321,000 records for every city within every state within every country. But I'm only again going to be rendering the applicable fields for Nevada in the United States based upon the combination of the accrued data at this particular stage in combination with the rule that is setting the explicit JSON path to just United States and just Nevada within the United States.